What are you sipping on there?
I've got a crisp and refreshing Canada Dry Diet Ginger Ale.
Canada Dry. That's what it's often
Canada,
called. Yes,
Canada Dry.
Canada fella. You go with the diet one, don't you?
I do that, and I got Diet Dr Pepper in the fridge. Mm,
Diet Peppy.
can't beat it. Can't beat it. It's an undefeated duo.
See, I've tried cutting soda more and more out of my life, but every now and again, I can't help it but have a little Coke or a little ginger ale as a treat. Especially
So
ginger ale.
yeah,
I'm a huge ginger ale guy.
ginger ale is great. People like to make fun just because it's what you have on an airplane, or it's what you'd get
When you're
if you were
sick.
going to the when you were going to the nurse's office at school pretending to be sick. Um, but no, I love ginger ale. I can have it any time of the day.
People make fun of ginger ale. Is that consistently a thing? I've never been persecuted for my beliefs on that front.
I've seen it around. I've heard some things.
Well, maybe becoming
It's
a grown up is
because it's
realizing
not.
that's fucking gas.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Mix it in with some whiskey as well. You got a nice little mixed drink on your hands there too. A little
It's
highball
so
action.
it's so versatile. You know,
Love it. Big fan.
this
Canada Dry.
episode. Yeah, go ahead.
Episode sponsored by Canada Dry. Please and thank you. I'm on my hands and
Yeah,
knees.
Canada Dry.
Canada Dry.
It's the store brand version.
Quick power rank of the ginger ale brands. Top is Canada Dry. Schweppes is two. And really hope that these folks are not a sponsor of anything SB Nation or Fox related. Uh, Number three is shit itself, and then fourth is Seagram's. Seagram's is
Seagram's the
garbage.
absolute worst. I thought you were gonna pull the bit from Moneyball, where it's like there's Canada Dry, then there's 50 feet of crap, then there's Seagram's.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going at there. Just saying just shit itself as three. I probably should have thought of the 50 feet of crap line from Brad Pitt and Moneyball. But no, Seagram's is horrible. At UMass, they had Seagram's for like my first like 2 years on the rotation. Um,
What's Seagram's? Is that PepsiCo? I'm trying to see.
I don't know. I think Canada Dry its own thing. I think like Canada Dry might be with like Seven Up, because Seven Up's like a weird
Oh,
third party.
Dr Pepper slash Seven Up Inc.
There you go.
So there
Right.
you go.
Yeah, so Dr. Pepper
Wow,
is like voting independent. You got red and blue, Coke, Pepsi. Dr. Pepper is the libertarian. You're drinking Gary Johnson basically
that's
when you're
right.
going with Peppy. Um, but yeah, Canada Dry is. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like I like Dr. Pepper. It's solid. Not as good as Coke, and still, I wouldn't even say as good as Pepsi. Pepsi's a little bit sweeter, but I have a sweet tooth, so I can deal with it. Um, Dr. Pepper is solid, but I think it takes the bronze medal there. Seven Up isn't as good as Sprite. I don't even remember if it's as good as Sierra Mist. I haven't had Sierra Mist in.
R.I.P. By the way,
Is Sierra Mist gone?
they are. It's rebranding to something called Starry. Um,
Why would you do that? You're
apparently that
already
apparently it's a move to capture the Gen Z audience. I only know this because I had to tweet about it last week at work.
fair enough. That's a fair enough of a. Well, I was gonna say like you're already so far behind Sprite when you're talking about the lemon lime soft drink market. Like
The
the
Sprite's a monopoly.
yeah, Sprite's market share is fucking brazy with that. I would say I'm not an economist, but I know that much. So it's like,
You're bullish on on Sprite.
yeah. So on one hand, why would you even try to, you know, why would you risk any sort of, you know, market? What's the word? Like people like recognizability. That's not a word, but why would
Brand
you
recognition.
brand recognition? Jesus Christ! See, exactly. Not an economist. Why would you surrender any and all brand recognition that you had previously? But on the other hand, the Zoomers are fucking crazy, and they'll go to bat for anything. You say you stand BTS or something like that as a soft drink company, and within the next couple of weeks, you're gonna have Sprite right on their heels. So retreating, basically giving up some ground.
Yeah,
Um,
Gen Z is a wild card.
no, they're either gonna kill us all or save us all. There's no in between. Um, but then you go to the ginger ale market, and I think Canada Dry easily clears there. So
Without a doubt.
little soft drink action to start this
Just to
episode.
start us off. The soft opening.
Jake, what do you have to say about it? Oh, Jake is not here. Jake is not here, Liam.
That's actually Smiley.
That's how. Yeah, that. Older fans of the show recognize that bit. Newer fans of the show, we're not going to explain it. No.
You go back and listen to the old episodes, will you?
Smiley, whenever he comes on, is just silent, and he hits the mic whenever he gets frustrated about something.
Rattles his mic.
Exactly.
He can't speak, you know?
Right. It's all smiles all the time. I am joined, however, by Travis Dead, Shot Dead in Houston, a.k.a. Liam. I am Josh Rutledge, a.k.a. Fitz. We are pod on Lansdowne. Jake couldn't make it this week. Wishing him well, as always. He'll be back soon enough. You'll get your fix of Jake soon enough. But it's just the two of us, just like that one time when...
Two-man show. It's Dave O'Brien and Tony Maz coming at you.
The two worst people you know. I'll take the hit and be Tony Maz. I think I can
good for you. Voice, good for you. Now, see, you're the radio guy, though, so you got to be O'Brien.
Right. I'm concerned, Liam. I'm concerned. We're glad you could join in for this episode of the program. Whether you're new or old, somewhere in between, good to have you around. You can follow us on Twitter at PodOnLansdowne. That's something you could certainly do. You can follow us all on Twitter at Fitzy Mopania is myself, at Liam Fennessy _ is the one and only Liam Fennessy, and then at Jake Wallinger for the absent Jake. Not even going to wait for a tardy here. We're marking him down as absent.
He's absent. He's absent today.
So after 5 minutes of soft drink talk, that ate up 5 minutes of audio, which is great because there's
crazy.
Because there's no Red Sox news. So we got an episode to record one way or the other, Liam, whether or not news happens. You know, it's not every day that your starting shortstop fucks up their elbow or your franchise player signs an 11-year contract. You know, this is what you got right now, folks. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like you know what you're getting. We're giving you fair warning. You can turn the episode off now if you want, because we could go anywhere with this.
Right. You could say a lot of things about us. One of the things that we are not are liars. We're being very honest with you here. There's not much news to talk about. There's some stuff. I exaggerate.
Very minor. Some
things to mention. Some interesting happenings surrounding the Boston Red Sox baseball club that we'd like to bring to your attention, and then we'll see what develops from there. Maybe we do another 25 minutes on soda-related brand talk. The evening is still young. Let's dive right into with the actual real sports baseball talk here with the fellas. Rumblings going around the interwebs today, Tuesday the 17th, Liam, that I wanted to bring to your attention. Some rumblings, nothing confirmed as of right now. And of course, if this ends up becoming hard news by the time we're recording, feel free to
which of course it will.
Yeah, Murphy's Law situation.
By the time we hop off.
Well, yeah, exactly. It will be when we end and when it's done processing and whatnot. When I'm editing the episode tomorrow, that's when this will become an official signing for the Red Sox. But as of now, it is rumors that Adam Duvall could be on his way to Boston to play in the outfield. Adam Duvall, formerly of the Braves, World Series champion with the Braves. There are some whispers here and there you've seen from a couple different sources that he could make his way to the Boston outfield, which of course would kick Kike Hernandez down to shortstop, thus plugging in the Trevor Story hole that again has unfortunately come about due to his shoulder injury. Adam Duvall, though, for those who aren't aware, very steady Eddie in the field, consistent fielder, strong arm, little inconsistent at the plate to say the least. He has his moments, also strikes out a ton though. So you're not necessarily getting him to be, an offensive stronghold for the lineup. But again, he has his days in the sun at the plate. Adam Duvall in general, Liam, what do you think about the prospect of adding him to the lineup for 2022 and potentially into the immediate future?
Do you want my optimistic take first or my pessimistic take?
Let's start optimistic and then get worse.
Okay, optimistic take. Great fit for the current team. If he can hit anywhere near, 25 to 35 home runs over a full season, cool. That's great with me because we really don't know if there's anyone outside of Devers, maybe Casas, that's going to top or be around 25 home runs this year in that lineup. Um, plays good defense, which obviously they need in the outfield right now. But my pessimistic take here, and maybe this is just me, but it feels he strikes me as like Hunter Renfro light,
Yeah.
just based on took a quick look at his baseball reference page today, and like yeah, you're gonna get 20, maybe 30 home runs on a good year, but he's not a guy that hits for average. The OPS plus I think came out to like 106 or like 111 for his career.
Career is 97.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but so it's
Some
like
absolute stinkers in there early on, to be fair. I mean, you look
oh,
at
100%.
you look at 2018 in total of 70. I mean, 2014, I'm not going to hold a 63 against them. That's a pretty small sample size, only 77 ABs. Usually about 150 is the amount of ABs you want to see at least before you get in somewhat of a fair enough of a sample size to determine statistics like that. But I mean, this past year, 87, not all that great. 213 batting average. I know batting average is for Neanderthals, but it's worth pointing out 276 on base. From that, he strikes out way too much, I would say.
He strikes out a ton.
One way or the other, whether he is productive, whether he does recapture some of that 2021 form, where he had 38 home runs with two different teams, 113 RBI in total, actually led the National League in 2021, believe it or not. 491 slug that year, 281 on base. If you can provide something along the lines, like you said it, of 25 home runs even during the course of a full year, somewhere in the bottom half of your lineup, sixth or seventh or something like that, I feel like you take that just to get some sort of pop in the offense. It almost feels like a situation prior to 2018 where, I mean, you said it, there's not too many power guys in the lineup right now outside of Devers and potentially Casas.
Yeah, and I mean, I think bare minimum, it's giving me a lot of Tommy Pham vibes. Like he's a legitimate major league bat and he's a legitimate major league glove. Like he's not a 4A player, which I think is
Right.
good because the roster was full of him last year. He's a real, legit, living, breathing Major League Baseball player. You ever seen one?
He's alive. He has vital signs. You name it. Pulse.
He can hit for some power. Can obviously play some good defense when he's in the outfield. So, I mean, it fits the team's needs currently. Whether or not I mean, he's not going to be a guy if the team somehow or some way is contending late in the year that you're gonna like lean on. He's going to be, like I said with Hunter Renfro earlier, he's a guy that's going to hopefully bat sixth or seventh and hit 20, 25 home runs for you.
And if he plays the solid enough of defense, you take that, right? Especially.
I think the defense is the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's what you're primarily signing him for.
Yeah, if you're moving Kike to the infield, then I mean, God, all bets are off. I don't know what the outfield would just be a mess.
You're gonna have to get creative at that point, and Kike losing his defensive abilities in the outfield would be taking a hit. So to be able to plug that right in would certainly soften the blow in that regard. And again, that's his primary calling card at this point. He's not going to be this offensive stalwart, although he is one of those guys, Liam, that has a week and a half of the time where he decides he's going to be the best hitter.
It's going to be red hot. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets scorching hot for random stretches throughout the year. I feel like he's done that the last couple of years. Was he hurt last year? He had to have been.
He had to have been. He only I was pulling up his page right now, but he only played 86 games.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta imagine that's a dangerous situation.
I mean, over a full year, he probably would have put up his usual 30-ish home runs, maybe a little below. But I don't know. I was looking to see like
maybe throw that outfield,
what outfield positions he primarily played, and it looks like center and left. Because I was going to say, I mean, if you're stealing Kike from center, do you automatically just make Duvall the starting center fielder, or do you? Because then I just like the outfield alignment. Like I feel like we're assuming.
I
I
wouldn't
feel
feel
like
great
we're
about having Kike or Yoshi out there. I feel like they're better suited at the corners.
yeah. I don't know enough. I still don't know enough about Yoshi to be like, is is
My
Ruben Glove
understanding is that
really
he's
that
not a great
bad?
fielder. Yeah,
That's
I
what we
mean,
keep hearing, but it's like I don't have anything to
yeah,
base that on outside
maybe
of.
it's better than advertised. Who's to say? I'm just just kind of going off of reports that I've read and things of that nature. I haven't sat there and grinded out the tape of his defensive highlights or anything
You
like
haven't
that.
been watching Oryx Buffalo games all off season,
Unfortunately, no. I have a job, so I can't be
breaking down the tape.
That's someone's job out there. It's just not my job. But you know, and if it was an injury situation for 2022 that made him take a step back offensively, maybe if you are taking the optimistic route, um, I know he's 34 years old. He's no spring chicken, but maybe he can recapture some of the form that he had over the last couple of years from 2019 to 21. 107 OPS plus, which again is no great shakes. 802 OPS just in general, but that's something you can certainly live with if he recaptures some of that offensive abilities while playing steady defense. I think it's a good short term fix to an issue there. He can extend your bench if when Story gets back, you want to kick Kike out to center. He's a good fourth outfield option in that situation. I don't think it would be a bad move at all. I'll tell you what I like it way more than. I like it way more than the idea of bringing on Elvis Andrews or, God love him, but Jose Iglesias. I'd rather take on Duvall and then kick Kike to short from there.
But even then, it still sounds like they're in on Wendell. So it sounds like one outfielder and one infielder are surely coming before spring training.
And we've talked
Is what
about
I
Joey
imagine.
Wendell. Joey
Yeah,
Wendell,
which like it's not inspiring, but
he's a guy. That's about
left-handed infielder off the bench. Which I guess if Kike and Arroyo are your middle infield, that makes sense.
I need some lefties in there. Don't want to overload on lefties, of course, but
the only thing I'm praying doesn't happen this year is a certain man by the name of Alex Verdugo taking over center because we know what he looks like out there.
I want nothing to do with that.
And I mean, even though he doesn't have the best arm, I think he's fine in right field. He's more than adequate out there. Just please, for the love of God, don't put him in center.
Well, there's another
That's all I
center
ask.
fielder. There's another center fielder kicking around, Liam. And he's a lefty too.
Should I know this?
He's very fast. He's a lefty. I think the second straight week I've done this bet. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I don't think I've ever seen an outfielder who sees the ball at night quite as well as he does, if we're being honest.
That's like Jared Duran, in case you couldn't pick that up. Or during the day. During the day too. Doesn't matter. Day and night, Kid Cudi. It doesn't matter what time it is. He sees the ball at some point. Eventually, he'll end up finding the ball and seeing it and fetching it from there. Or sometimes he doesn't fetch it. Sometimes he'll walk up to the ball.
He'll let Alex Verdugo get the ball behind him.
Well, Verdugo was running in, Liam. I don't know if you knew that. He didn't want to collide with Verdugo.
Oh, that was right. Common mix up.
Silly me, right? Yeah. God, I think about that play like twice a week. I get angry every time I do. Ugh.
I just the image of him with like his arms out and looking up is ingrained in my mind. That and then
after Christian Arroyo one.
Right, exactly. Where he was like
after the ball, Arroyo just lost it. Then at least he got on his horse to try to get it in.
And at least Arroyo was like straining his vocal cords, trying to get a teammate to point it out for him. The man's like shaking out in right field, trying to find this ball in the air.
Police, help! Help!
Basically, it's that meme. That was Christian Arroyo.
He needs some milk.
Jaron Duran, at least, it's like, oh, he lost it, and he was just kind of like,
whatever, man.
It's up there somewhere. It'll come down.
We're all gonna die one day, anyways. This is insignificant in the grand scheme of things.
Nihilist Jaron Duran.
His mind was too focused on the important research that he was providing.
That's right. He had to figure out if he was going to Toronto in September.
Him and Tanner Houck were in the lab cooking up something important for the greater good. Goodness gracious.
A
So
lot of
yeah, that
glassware.
yeah. Yeah, again, that's Adam Duvall. Again, he would be a short term kind of a deal before any of the kids potentially take over in the outfield if they're not traded. Um, which no real signs of anything in terms of trade at this point, right? Speaking of the Marlins, who Adam Duvall played
Not
with
that
recently, nothing really.
not that I've seen. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe there's something coming. I don't know what Heim's cooking. He might not be cooking anything at all. We never know.
he might be on a hunger strike. Who's to say? Uh,
My thing is like
there's
I feel like at this point every addition we're like talking about a potential addition to the team ahead of opening day has just sort of been like, yeah, like he fits the team. We'll take him, I guess.
yeah,
Like it's no one you're like really like it can really get excited over.
Yeah, I'm not
But
here like trying to pound on the desk for Adam Duvall. I just think at this juncture, at this point in the game, like that's like he's about as good of an option as you're gonna get, realistically speaking. It's like, that's just these are the times we live in now, and you gotta adjust expectations to that. So that's why I'm here being like, I think Adam Duvall would make sense for the team. Man, it's
we're
just
uh we're starving.
yeah, it's just a crumb of something competitive. Um, Also got a minor league catcher into the fold for this upcoming year. We'll talk about that guy, but first, let's listen to some ads. Take note of that. 21. Jorge Alfaro.
Yeah, nailed it.
Alfaro. If I was I want margaritas and tacos. Jorge Alfaro. There we go. Minor league deal. Catcher being brought into the Boston Red Sox organization. Welcome aboard. People are excited about this, Liam. Way more excited than I would have thought that a Jorge Alfaro signing would have prompted. Way bigger of a reaction.
And I'm thinking that mostly comes from it being a minor league deal because I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, low risk.
I mean, I mean, it's a great move if you're the Red Sox. Um, he seems like a great vibes guy from all the clips that are going around from his year in San Diego last season. So, I mean, it makes sense. They needed to add another catcher, get another one in the fold ahead of spring training. So, I mean, it'd be awesome if he like really gave Reese or Wong a run for your money, and I could absolutely see him not necessarily like being the starter on opening day, but being one of two catchers that are on the roster on opening day. If they
Gives you
opted to give Wong some more time
gives you a
in
little something
AAA.
something at least, right? Did you tweet
Yeah, I
that
mean,
clip?
it's
Did you?
competition, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And again, low risk. Did you end up tweeting that video from the pod account again at Pod on Lansdowne on
Oh,
Twitter? Was that you?
yeah, from his Winter League home
Yeah,
run,
the
like I don't know, a
Dominican
week
Winter
or
League,
so
was it?
ago. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
electric.
that was electric. And if we can just get again just a crumb of that, just a little bit, just a crumb, that'd be very nice. I wouldn't hate that. Jorge Alfaro, again, you talk about a little jolt offensively here and there. It's a mixed bag. 89 career OPS plus 94 this past year, over 274 plate appearances with the San Diego Dads. 97th percentile max exit velocity. So he has the potential to take things up a tank. And as a righty, or he's actually a switch hitter, I take that back.
Is he
No,
really?
he's not. He's not a switch hitter. What the fuck? I thought I read the B on Savant here. Looking
I
at
was gonna say, I
static
was like,
today.
oh my god.
Beg pardon. No, I thought it meant B for both. Nope, righty. Well, if he takes aim at the monster every now and again, that could be fun. Could be a good vibe guy. 96 percentile in terms of pop time to second. Not a great framer, but gets the ball over to second base quickly, which could be interesting as a defensive replacement later in the game. I understand that this is a very specific situation, but later in the game to keep runners honest from going first to second, especially now with the leadoff rules not, I'm not saying like lead off batter, like you leading off of bases. With those
Yeah.
changing, where pitchers can only pitch
What is
over,
like 2 pickoffs, and then
so
the
they can throw
third
over
is
for they can throw over to a base for free twice during an at bat. If they throw over a third time or a fourth time, so on and so forth, and they don't get the runner out, they get the next. It basically counts as a balk, and that runner gets the next base. You can pick off over to first a third time, and if they're out, they're out. It's fine. There's no penalty, but that's the risk you run. So you know, one would think that with A, that, and B, the base is actually getting bigger. You might think that runners, even guys who historically haven't run too much on the base paths, they would get bigger leads.
might
Um,
start thinking about it.
yeah, and plays that would have been easy outs before going over to second could be more, bang bang. Those 50-50 ones could end up, going more in favor of the runner, things like that. Incentivizes running more. So getting a guy in there who could quickly pop up and get the ball over to second could be a little bit more valuable than we're giving it credit for. I'm not saying, you break the bank for anything like that. Again, it's a minor league deal, but it's something to consider when you're talking about this guy. 85th percentile in terms of sprint speed too for a catcher. That's a little Dalton
What?
Varsho action probably there, right? Yeah,
What is going on?
yeah. What is happening with these? He's a big boy too, 6'3",
He is.
230,
He's like hefty,
right? Oh
as
lord,
as
he
you'd
coming
imagine a
sort of
catcher would be.
type beat, huh? Jeez, just huffing and puffing around. But again, it's a minor league deal, and again, it's slim pickings this week, folks. They're not
Yeah,
all
I
going to
mean,
be.
I mean, look, it's a great move for what it is. It's low risk, high
Take a
reward.
flyer. Why
Yeah,
not? Give it a shot,
I
right?
mean, gives you some more catching depth regardless. Cool. Everybody wins, I guess.
Again, we're on our hands and knees just looking for something with this club.
Next up, Connor Seabold.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So long to him. I wonder who that player to be named later is going to be from the Colorado Rockies
It's
because
gonna be
Connor
Brendan
Seabold.
Rodgers.
Yeah, right. Who's the shortstop there? The kid, new one, Tovar is his name. I think it's like
Sure.
Ezekiel Tovar. I think his name. He's like their top prospect. He's
Okay.
presumably going to be taking over shortstop duties for them. Supposed to be a pretty good player. That'd be nice now. Daniel Bard, that's the player to be named later.
Now the
Daniel
bullpen
Bard.
arm would be great. Well, they
Come
signed
on.
him to that extension though. They'll never let him go.
Yeah, right.
He's the
Yeah,
cornerstone.
he's the one guy they've decided to pay for the next decade or so. And if it doesn't work out, they can say, "See, this is why we trade our franchise players or let them walk in free agency." God, have we talked about how weird that fucking franchise is? The
The
Colorado
Rockies,
Rockies. They're
bizarre,
so
bizarre
weird.
team.
There's a
Do you know
thread.
why their Do you know why their mascot is a dinosaur?
Dinger is his name, right?
Yeah.
Why
Do
is
you
it
know
Dinger?
why? Because apparently when they were building Course Field, when they started to dig up the site, they found dinosaur bones. Fun fact.
Really?
And that's why Dinger exists.
That's
So,
cool as hell.
Now you know.
That's so
Because
sick.
it always it drove me insane for the longest time. I was like, why is the Rockies mascot a dinosaur? One with polka dots, no less.
A purple one.
Yeah,
I don't know if that ever existed in the wild.
But hey, they found some dinosaur bones when they were building the ballpark. Hence, and a mascot was born.
You gotta I was gonna say frame, but you need a shadow box for that. You gotta prominently display those dinosaur bones, right?
I would love to know where they are actually.
Is it like building on a burial ground? Like if you build a stadium over dinosaur bones, are you cursed for millions of years?
I would hope not.
It would explain why the Rockies are the way that they are.
True.
I mean, they won a pennant, and then they lost to a certain baseball team. I can't remember who it was back in 2007. But again, that it tracks. I know correlation doesn't equal causation, but that's a good theory to be had. This team just could be cursed by the dinosaur gods.
Wow, apparently they found a ton, or at least there are a ton in the Denver metro area. So now
Get a archaeologists to reconstruct them or some stuff. Could you imagine how hard that'd be, like in center field, like above the batter's eye? Oh, I know they have the seats up there above the batter's eye, but somewhere in the outfield, you just have a display of a fucking dinosaur skeleton. That'd be
Uh,
sick. That'd
the
be hard as
okay,
hell.
so I'm reading an article from on MLB's website about the bones, and like
Bones are their money. So are the worms.
yeah, there's nothing to write home about here. They're extremely boring looking bones, but apparently they're from a triceratops. So
If you had to
um,
guess, to describe it to the listeners, if you had to guess what part of the let's presume that it's a triceratops like Dinger. I believe Dinger is a
I just
triceratops.
yes, he is
If
indeed.
if it is a if those are triceratop bones, what part of the body are we talking here? You just sent me a picture of it. I'll also try
I
to.
did. Yeah, take a guess.
Oh, there's no fuck. There's no way to. The femur, dude. I don't know. It looks like you know what it looks like. The one on the left there. It looks like First of all, they do it to scale, and about half the screen for scale gives 5 centimeters. So these are tiny little guys. These
Extremely
are not.
small.
These are not big. So, God, way to get my hopes up and then let them down here. Jeez, I thought we were talking like a fucking whole ass carcass here. No,
That's what I thought too. And
shit.
apparently they're located at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, and they're small enough.
Boring.
They're small enough to fit inside a shoebox. So
Well, yeah, 5 centimeters, right? Not even 5 centimeters.
groundbreaking discovery.
The one on the left looks like Plank from Ed, Ed and Eddie.
It's true. It does.
I'm gonna guess like the femur. I don't know.
So let's see. Let's see. Um,
You're gonna have someone that
so
like tells you like the exact like history of these specific fragments of bone, carbon dating and things like that. Oh yeah, it was part of the left, paw or something. Dinosaurs don't have fucking paws. I don't know, but
oh,
what were you gonna say?
here's a fun nugget. Well, first
A fun Denver.
I'll
Could you say that this is a fun Denver nugget?
you, we could
Huh? Yeah.
Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, Jokic and Jamal Murray. Continue.
So the article says some claimed it was part of a triceratops skull. Others thought
Skull.
maybe it was just a dinosaur egg. But apparently it's like the chunk of some dinosaurs like rib, and that's pretty much it.
You could do far worse than a rib.
I guess a rib is cool, but I don't know. But
Like
apparently,
if it was a femur, like I guess that would have sucked a bit more. Ribs kind of cool.
a femur
Skull
would
would
have
have
been
been
cool
hard.
because it had a skull would have been sweet.
Yeah.
But apparently, when they found the dinosaur, quote unquote, bones, I guess we'll refer to it. Yes, the dinosaur was dead.
Fuck.
But so I guess Coors had already had the naming rights for the ballpark when they were building it. But people wanted it to be renamed Jurassic Park because of the bones.
Ah, Coors.
So that would have been pretty hard.
Coors, you gotta listen. I know money is everything, but in this situation, money is not everything. Maybe you work out a legal settlement. Oh my, you gotta take a little bit more scratch and take a hit for the team. You've gotta let it be called Jurassic Park.
Or even just be like Coors Field at Jurassic Park. Still maintain the naming rights.
Yards sort of deal,
exactly.
Right?
Or like Ricky Henderson Field at the O.co Coliseum.
Well, yeah, they change the name of the Coliseum every 15 minutes. So yeah, it's the O.co right now. But yeah, it is Ricky Henderson Field.
Is it still the O.co? I have no idea. Hey, to be honest.
Why don't you look that up? Jamie, pull that up. No one calls it Oriole Park.
No, it's Camden Yards.
Everyone calls it Camden Yards. No one said, "Oh, I'm going to the game at Oriole Park at Camden Yards." No one fucking says that. These corporations do not seem to understand. Yeah, it's great to have the naming rights, and it is plastered all over the place. Yada yada yada. And of course, we know the stadium as Coors Field today. Always refer to it as Coors, even if they change the name. I'll probably always refer to it as Coors. But people just get used to those sort of a name, like the people who renamed the Steelers Stadium. What's it like, Ackshire Stadium right now?
Oh
It's
yeah, it's
Heinz
always
Field.
going to be it's always
It's
going to be
Heinz.
Heinz Field.
It's Heinz. No, yeah, we're always going to call it Heinz Field. The Fleet Center in Boston, people would still be calling it like the New Garden. No one's got. Oh, I'm going to the Fleet Center today. You guys
My uh
want to go to the Fleet Center?
my parents, God bless them, because like they moved out of the city in the late '90s, down to Baltimore, and I mean they still refer to TD as the new Garden. Like, oh, they playing at the new Boston Garden? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, Dad,
Well, yeah, again,
it's the
people
TD
in
Garden.
general just call it the Garden. You know what I mean? I'll be
Yeah,
playing at the Garden. Yeah. And then I hear if you listen closely, that's all the New Yorkers go. The Garden is MSG. Oh, the pizza. Oh. Yeah, whatever. But
Billy Joel,
right, exactly. Yeah. All his banners, because they don't have any other championship banners over the last
because they don't
25
win
years to
anything
hang.
else.
Exactly right. So they have to put up banners for all the records that Billy Joel has broken. But no, you gotta take the hit there. Negotiate something. Get Spielberg on the phone, right? Because he's gonna have the rights to that. Him and Amblin, I think, is the name of his production company. Whoever it is, right? Universal, if they're the distributors of Jurassic Park, get them on the line with Coors and the Rockies. Hash out a settlement. You got to take one for the team here. Got to get a win for the people to call an actual ballpark Jurassic Park. Has to.
Yeah, would have ruled. That's a huge missed opportunity. I'd never heard that before, but that's, man. So much Rockies merchandising opportunities.
Yeah, right? Like the team would they'd have to probably pay a little bit more upfront to settle any legal issues and to make the thing go away, so it does open it up. But
Imagine if
Christ,
their City Connect uniforms were like dinosaur
oh my
inspired.
god.
Oh, it'd be
With like the
amazing.
Jurassic Park font and stuff like that.
Now
Oh
you're
god.
talking.
Right? You make all
Yeah,
your money back from the legal stuff just in merchandising fees and whatnot.
it's true.
I'd
I
get a
bet you
hat,
get
I'd get a
some.
shirt.
I bet the what is it? Is it Universal or Paramount
I
that
think it's
does?
universal.
Okay, I mean you could
Considering
get
considering that like
Colorado Rockies ride at one of the Universal theme parks.
it's not
The
far
opportunity,
from
the
Hollywood,
opportunities
right?
are, yeah. They
Exactly.
really they really fumbled the bag on that one.
They have a Universal in California. They have a theme park there, and hell, they have rides from Seussland. Seussland is not nearly as close to LA as Denver is. So
If you had to come up with a Colorado Rockies themed ride, based on like some obscure Rockies player, who are you choosing? The
that's a
Rommel
good
Tapia
question.
roller coaster,
I would say the J- the
the Aaron
the Je-
Cook. Uh,
I was gonna say the Jeff Francis coaster, and the ride is it's. Have you ever seen the euthanasia coaster?
no,
So the
no.
euthanasia. All right, so the ride is just the euthanasia coaster, right? And it's themed off of Jeff Francis. God, what I wouldn't give to get into a Universal pitch
Oh
meeting.
no, never mind. I've seen this before. I didn't know didn't know the actual name.
So the youth, not to take a dark turn or a dark loop de loop here. Trying to pull up my internet's kind of shit right now on my phone. It's not pulling up. All right, the euthanasia coaster is a hypothetical steel roller coaster designed as a euthanasia device to kill its passengers. The concept was conceived in 2010 and made into a scale model by a Lithuanian artist. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. And a PhD candidate at the Royal College of Art in London. Uh,
2010. You could call it the Carlos Gonzalez euthanasia coaster,
the cargo experience.
the cargo coaster.
Because I mean, I'm sure there are Rockies fans out there that would definitely, buy a ticket and take the ride on the euthanasia coaster, considering how bad the team has been managed over the last couple of years.
Or pretty much always. They're
John
such a fascinating franchise.
John Allen, who served as the president of the Philadelphia Toboggan Company, which is I would imagine they make rides, oldest existing roller coaster manufacturing companies, one of the most oldest in the world in terms of making roller coaster. The president of that company inspired the artist with his description of the ultimate roller coaster as one that, quote, sends out 24 people and they all come back dead. Basically, what this roller coaster is, it's a huge lift hill, right? Goes way up at the apex, turns right back down. It's a quick angle down, and it's multiple loop-de-loops that get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter as you go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I count 7 loops there. 7 inversions. That's right. Basically, the design mechanism of action. The euthanasia coaster would kill its passengers through prolonged cerebral hypoxia or an insufficient supply of oxygen to the brain. The ride's 7 inversions would inflict 10 Gs of force on its passengers for 60 seconds, causing G-force related symptoms starting with gray out through tunnel vision to blackout, and eventually G-lock, which is G-force induced loss of consciousness. Jesus Christ. Subsequent inversions or another run of the coaster would serve as insurance against unintentional survival of more robust passengers.
That's great.
So, the Colorado Rockies themed euthanasia coaster. I think that's a hit. I think that's a
coming
to
Universal.
Tie-in, right? You got the brand tie-in because it's just long and excruciating watching the Colorado Rockies baseball. They just make decisions to make decisions. Someone made a thread on that. Like, they just make decisions based on vibes. It's not based on baseball. It's not based on strategy. It's just based on vibes. That's why they gave Daniel Bard an extension. Maybe that's why they got rid of Nolan Arenado. Maybe he didn't fit the vibes too much. Maybe Trevor Story wasn't as much of a vibe guy as they wanted. I mean, you talk about Colorado. I mean, hell, they have a minor league baseball team out there called the Rocky Mountain Vibes. They're all based on vibes.
True, love the vibes. Ooh,
exactly.
I think the Vibes are collegiate wood bat league now.
Are they?
I think they got caught up in when Manfred.
You want to talk about great merchandise? The Rocky Mountain Vibes.
The Vibes, the toasted marshmallow, just
fucking heat, dude.
Is on fire with the sunglasses. Yeah,
you know what? If I get
guy.
If I get MLB The Show this year, which I'm planning on doing, and for Diamond Dynasty, I think maybe that's my Diamond Dynasty team. Just get that logo, get a nice
Rocky Mountain Vibes.
Jersey. Rocky Mountain Vibes.
Yeah, exactly. The logo is sweet.
It's so cool. It's a s'more on fire. The marshmallow's wearing glasses, and he's like kind of giving what's up? Like, I don't know if it's a peace sign or like
it's one or the other.
Hang ten.
He's just saying what's up.
He's cool as hell. I'd have a beer with him, right? I'd have a feel with that dude. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you like the grass, I'm sure he knows a guy. He can hook that up for you. The real good stuff. It's Colorado after all, so he'd be able to hook that up. What were we talking about? Go, Connor Siebel.
Well, no. back to the Oakland Coliseum because
back to the O.co Coliseum, of course.
Because it has quite the history when it comes to its names. Do you want to take a guess as to what it's called currently?
I'm gonna guess that they don't have the naming rights right now, so I'm gonna say it's the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum.
Incorrect.
Is it a sponsored one?
It is, and I've never heard of this company.
Well, it's not Oracle because that's the Giants, right? I know. Right next door is where the Warriors used to play. They were right next to the Coliseum, and that was the Oracle Arena. They ended up moving, but Oracle sponsors again. That's Pac Bell to me, or AT&T. I'm not going to be calling it Oracle Park anytime soon.
Pac Bell, is it? I always forget they changed it to Oracle.
It was SBC, AT&T. I think, at one point because that's like the phone line division of Pac Bell, I believe.
Oh God!
And then switched it back to AT&T, which is again under like the Pac Bell umbrella, or all those companies were under the AT&T umbrella. Corporate conglomerate bullshit, Liam, stuff like that. It was all named after telephone companies, and then they switched to Oracle. I have no idea what it is. Those are my two guesses.
It's something called Ring Central Coliseum.
Ring Central. What is it like the doorbell thing? Like Ring?
No.
What is Ring
Central? It's a cloud computing based business phone system.
Well, of course.
At least that's the industry they're in. They're on the New York Stock Exchange. So
what are their stocks looking like? Again, I'm not an economist, but
let's pull this out. Give me a sec. This is great radio. Oh, they're up today, or at least they closed up today.
Well, there you go. Good for them.
Oh, well, selling at $36.50. So there you go.
Yeah. Maybe the A's will be able to extend Seth Brown now. Probably not, but maybe
somebody. So what? All right. Anyway, back to the Oakland Coliseum. Real quick.
Yeah, let's go through these names.
The history of names is absolutely absurd.
I know it was McAfee Coliseum at one point, like the
correct,
like computer protection, like that was probably that was like Eric Chavez
virus, like the malware virus.
Like when Dallas Braden threw his perfect game, it was probably named like the McAfee Coliseum at that point, around that time. You know, you're talking what was that guy's name? Really good in like 2007 or 2008. Was it pitcher Justin really long name. You keep going. I'm going to try to find his name.
Okay. So
I think he randomly made the All-Star team in 2008.
The famous Oakland Coliseum here. When it opened in 19...
Did they include the name famous in it?
No. I added that myself. I was ad-libbing.
I was going to say. All right, pump the brakes there a little bit, buddy.
From 1966 to 1998, it was the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, of course.
Justin Duchscherer.
Oh,
that's
I remember him.
Duchscherer. Justin Duchscherer.
He signed with the Orioles at one point when I was in high school. That's the only reason I remember that name.
He never pitched for the Orioles, but he was. Did he sign with the Orioles? On January 30th of 2011, Duchscherer signed a one-year deal with the Orioles. He was released on August 2nd.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
But he did make an all-star team, you said?
2 all-star games, I'll have you know. 05 and 08.
Good for him.
Yeah, shout out to Duchscherer. Anyways.
Okay. So Oakland Alameda County Coliseum up until 1998. From 1998 to 2004, it was the Network Associates Coliseum. Then from 2004 to 2008, it was the McAfee Coliseum. Yeah. But then from 2008 to 2011, nobody owned the naming rights. So it went back to Oakland Alameda County Coliseum.
Yeah.
And then for just 2011, it was the Overstock.com Coliseum.
Because then they changed to O.co. That was Overstock.com. Yeah.
Then they were the O.co Coliseum up until 2016.
That's still run there 5 years.
Yeah, and then from 2016 through 2019, they went back to the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum.
Forgive me, but it's time to go back to the old me. Forgive me for what I must yabba dabba do.
And then from 2019 up until now, it is the Ring Central Coliseum. So now you know.
God, it's
an oral history of the Coliseum's naming rights.
Yeah, right. Yeah, next blog on Over the Monster. That's got to be up there in terms of the stadium that gets renamed the most. The one that jumps out to me, though, in terms of being renamed all the time, is where the Dolphins play and where the Marlins used to play. I think it's Hard Rock Stadium now.
Yes, I think that's right.
Hard Rock Stadium. Let's try to find the names of this bad boy. Naming rights. All right. Oh, boy. So how many were there for the Coliseum? Could you go back and count?
Oh, let me see. I had six different names.
I think I'm getting 9 here, which is crazy. So, again, baseball related because the Marlins used to play here. From 87 to 96, August to August of that time frame, it was Joe Robbie Stadium, which is what my dad calls it. That's an all-time dad move. Like, my dad would call Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. He always calls it Jack Murphy Stadium. Whatever, like we were talking that, and that somehow came up in the conversation the other day. So he called it, I think it was Jack Murphy Stadium. I think that's what it used to be called. I'm sure the old heads
that's right.
know for her. So Joe Robbie Stadium was its initial name from August of 87 to August of 96. From August of 96 to September of 96, so not even a month. Not even a month. It was Pro Player Park. Then it went to Pro Player Stadium from September of 96 to January of 05. That's what I've always called. I call it Pro Player. That's how I would know it off the top of my head.
Okay.
I would imagine they changed it to Stadium before the football season began. It was Park for a little bit for baseball, although in the middle of 96, I mean, the Marlins must not have come in there until 97, right? Marlins are there since 93.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
I'm seeing
so
from
it changed in the
93
middle of the year. That's weird as
2011.
hell. I don't know if I've ever seen that, the stadium changing in the middle of the season, the stadium name. But again, it's primarily a football stadium, so I guess it would make sense that it changes before football season starts as opposed to baseball. And the Dolphins are bigger than the Marlins down there. From January of 05 to April of 06, it was Dolphin Stadium. Then get this, from April of 06 to May of 09, it was Dolphin Stadium, singular. Dolphin.
Singular,
it went from Dolphins Stadium to Dolphin Stadium.
Much like right? Oriole Park, the singular Oriole.
Yeah, there you go. From May of 09 to January of 2010, it was Landshark Stadium.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Which I would imagine
sponsored by the
beer, which is owned by Jimmy Buffett, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
It's all making sense now.
Landshark isn't bad. It's not a bad beer.
No, I don't mind Landshark in the summer. Yeah.
Yeah, on the beach, something like that. Better out of a bottle. I don't know if I've ever actually had it out of 100%. A can or on draft, but it's very good out of the bottle. I like Corona a little bit more, but that's just me. You're not a Corona guy?
Nah, just very bland. Doesn't do it for me.
Put the lime in there. Get a little zest.
They're not going to get it from me. That's all I'll say.
It's a bad take, but I digress. So again, Dolphin Stadium, Landshark Stadium, from January 6th, not that January 6th, but January 6th of 2010 to January 19th of 2010. So for like 2 weeks, went back to Dolphin, singular, Dolphin Stadium. Then from January of 2010 to January of 2016, it was Sun Life Stadium.
Oh, okay.
Sun Life Stadium. Yep, I do too. I believe they held the Super Bowl there when it was Sun Life. I think that was the Saints
Bears Colts.
No, that was Saints Colts. Bears Colts was 07, so that would have been when it was still Dolphin Stadium. I believe Sun Life.
God, they really got a bunch there.
Well, we're not done.
For a spell.
From February of 2016 to August of 16, it was New Miami Stadium, despite the fact that the stadium was not new. They renovated it. They did a ton of renovations to it. Like they added that roof. It doesn't
even look the same now like it did.
Right.
When the Marlins were still there.
Again, not a new stadium. It's like if we called it New Fenway Park. It's not New Fenway Park. It's the same Fenway. It's the what's that philosophical question? Like you replace all the parts of the ship.
Oh my god!
Is it the same ship or
the ship of ship? Theseus or whatever?
I almost said Leonidas, but that was the guy from Thermopylae in 300.
Yes, it's the ship of Theseus.
This is Sparta guy.
It's a thought experiment about whether an object that has had all of its original components replaced remains the same.
What's the name of it? The ship of what?
The ship of Theseus.
Theseus. There you go.
Yeah,
the Stadium of Theseus here in Miami. And then finally, from August 2016 to the present, coming up on a decade now, so that's about as long of a run.
That's a good run for him.
Here. It has been Hard Rock Stadium.
Which, that's what I think of it as now, is Hard Rock Stadium.
On August 17, 2016, the Dolphins announced that the naming rights have been sold to the Hard Rock Cafe International and that the stadium would be renamed Hard Rock Stadium. The new name was notably ridiculed by fans of Florida State, as the Seminole tribe of Florida are the owners of the Hard Rock Cafe chain. I did not know that.
Wow.
But the stadium is host of their rivals, the University of Miami.
Interesting.
How about that? They've got a whole ass fucking section on their Wikipedia page for the stadium on the naming rights. It's multiple paragraphs, folks. Really, really detailed situation. And while we're on the topic of places where the Marlins have played before, their current park is Lone Depot Park. When I first heard that, I thought they misspelled Home Depot.
I remember
Let's go stuff.
Lone
Home Depot, Loan Depot.
I think maybe it was like the 2020 playoffs where Lone Depot, like they must have bought like all the ad spaces, and MLB was like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Buy low on the
Um,
COVID dip, baby.
yeah, like I just remember, they might have sponsored like the World Series that year. It's like the World Series brought to you
Or
by
like
Lone
Doosan.
Depot.
Doosan's been big
Yeah,
there. Doosan loves the baseball
Doosan.
sponsorships.
Utz. I remember Utz had like a bunch of sponsorships in 2020.
Utz, like the chips.
Yeah, and then there was Camping World. Camping World, I think,
Camping
had
World's
a
a
World
big
Series.
one. That was like big, like late 2010s. Camping World,
Yes,
like a
yeah.
big push. Yeah.
If they sold the naming rights to Fenway, what who would you want?
Well, first of all, if they ever did that, there'd be fucking riots in the street.
Right, yeah, we never let it happen.
Second of all, the revenge of John Hancock. Like, you get the sign, we get the stadium. I mean the basic pick, but I still think would like. I mean, if you're gonna rename it from Fenway, which again not gonna happen, don't want it to happen, but if it might as well be a regionally beloved brand like Dunks, you know what I mean? It might as well.
That's what I always go
It's
to.
the basic pick. It's the one that everyone would think of, but I think it makes the most sense. Like Sam Adams, I guess. Like you just think of Boston.
I'm just thinking exactly.
They have the sign out there. You know, they already have that tie-in. Knowing how clueless how tone deaf the ownership group could be, they're gonna pick like fucking like Deloitte or something like that. You know what I mean? It's nothing. Something with no
Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Smith and Wesson Park.
Is Wayfair Boston based? Why do I think they are?
I don't know, but that would get people up in arms. Remember when they had their
their
little controversy.
They could be the Fen Wayfair Park.
Okay, we keep some of the old magic.
We're not completely abandoning it.
What the funniest possible brand would be. I mean, right now it would be Burger King just because of the Whopper commercials. That wouldn't have any staying power in terms of being funny. It would just be sad at some point.
I always like to look at the old photos of Minute Maid Park when it was like Enron Field.
FTX Stadium.
Exactly. Right. Something like that.
Well, that's the name of where the Miami Heat play. They play like at the FTX Arena. That's exactly what it's called right now.
Yeah, all those crypto naming rights have aged really well.
Yeah, instead of the Staples Centers, I think it's the Crypto.com Arena.
Which I'm sure doesn't last, yeah.
Yeah. No, Enron Field, that's a good one. Company, too big to fail. Just trying to think of like AIG Stadium. That would have been funny back in the day. Not for people who lost a ton of money, but in hindsight,
what's Lehman Brothers.
Lehman Brothers
Field.
What was the name of Madoff's group?
Good, great question.
Lehman Brothers. What was the other big one that went complete? Bear Stearns.
Bear Stearns was another good one. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they ever, I can't see them ever.
No,
I could see them naming the field. I can't see them renaming the ballpark though.
Yeah, doing it like Dunkin' Donut Field at Fenway Park or something like that. They would go as low to stoop to that. I think they would.
Oh,
but
for
I think
sure.
They know that the Fenway brand is too strong, and I think they actually might throw John Henry off the Zagum if they did that. They actually might do that.
Probably.
I think for the most part, nothing is sacred in this world anymore, but I think that would be sacred enough. I would like to.
I would hope
maybe
so.
I'm naive. Maybe I'm too optimistic in that, but I would like to think that they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't rename Wrigley Field. I don't think they would rename Dodger Stadium. I don't think they would do that.
Don't you think it's odd, though, that Wrigley has never been renamed, even though it's not owned by the Wrigleys anymore?
It just kind of gets grandfathered in.
Yeah.
I guess I never thought of that.
Good for them. But technically...
Yeah, free advertising.
Wrigley's got the naming rights.
Yeah,
I wonder if they... I'm fascinated to know whether they pay for that or not.
That's a good question. mean, the advertising doesn't really work. It doesn't make me think of like,
It doesn't
damn,
make me think of
look,
like Wrigley chewing
the
gum,
Cubs are
but
the Cubs are awesome. I could go for a nice piece of Big Red right now. You know what I mean? I need I need some Hubba Bubba. Like I need. I don't even think Wrigley is Hubba Bubba.
as of June 20th, 2020, from a website called bleedcubbyblue.com, they say likely no money is going to the Wrigley gum chewing company. So there you have that. That we know of. They
Yeah,
could
it could
be
be under
they
the table.
true.
I mean, when you're
It's,
talking
it's
about
it's
Ricketts,
that old, you know.
hey, Bleed Cubby Blue. Who are they affiliated with?
That was a good one.
I believe it's SB Nation.
It's true.
How
I
about
just
that?
pulled them up. I like their logo
Yeah, it's a good logo. I mean, it's not as good as our logo over the
with
monster.
the ivy and the brick and the bear.
Yeah, I like it. Looks like the Polar brand bear, like Polar Seltzer. A little bit. Looks more like a polar
Oh,
bear than a cubby bear.
it does. It does. It looks like a polar bear. Okay, so apparently the article I'm sourcing here uh, says the ballpark. I mean, because his name was Wrigley, it was named after him. It wasn't necessarily named after the
Yeah,
company, which is why they're not collecting any money on
Wrigley
those naming rights.
trademark stadium. Yeah,
Yeah,
or field rather
exactly.
than stadium. What the hell am I talking about? I'll be
So
at Wrigley
that
this
makes
summer.
more sense.
Yeah,
I would love to go to Wrigley. Never been. Have you?
I went once when I was like 13. I went in 09. We had a family trip to Chicago and we saw them play the Braves. So I was like, I
Oh,
saw
nice.
Kosuke Fukudome was there.
Oh, King.
I forget who was pitching. I don't know if it was Zambrano or not.
Soriano was on those teams, wasn't he?
Yes, I don't know if he played that day. Maybe he was hurt. I don't recall, totally. I think like Ryan the Riot, I think was still kicking around there. Ryan Terrio.
Was Marlon Bird on those teams? He had to have
He
been.
must have been. I'm sure I could try to find the actual box.
I'm gonna pull up their 2009 roster.
They lost to the Braves.
So, team batting. I'll take you around the diamond for the a blast from the past. 2009 Chicago Cubs. You had Giovanni Soto at catcher, Derek Lee at first, Mike Fontenot at second, Ryan Terrio.
Oh wow, that's a fucking name.
Ramos Ramirez at third.
He was a good
very
player.
underrated. Soriano left. Fukudome in center. Oh, Terrio.
Ryan the Rat.
Yeah. Milton Bradley in right field.
Milton Bradley.
God bless him.
God bless him.
And
your rotations, you're probably looking at Zambrano, and shit. I can't think of any of their other picks.
Dempster, Ted Lilly, Randy
Lilly.
Wells, Rich Harden apparently started 26 games.
Rich Harden.
Kevin Gregg was their closer. Carlos Marmol was also in that bullpen.
Oh God, fucking Marmol! Remember him?
Jeff Zamarja. It must have been like his rookie year.
Shark, yeah.
He pitched 34 innings. Not really any interesting names on their bench outside of like Sam Fold.
He's a coach now, isn't he?
He's like the Phillies GM, I think, isn't he?
GM.
Yeah, he was on. Sadly, when I work during the day, I have MLB Network on, so I get caught by what's his face, the Mad Dog, when he starts High Heat, and it always shocks me.
Just
but he was on High Heat the other day, which is why I'm remembering him now.
The Feddies with Sanfold. Yeah, that's fucking.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's so bad. But yeah, he's the current general manager of the Phillies. Shout out Sam Fold.
Shout out to that. Shout out to Rick.
Him and Dombrowski.
The plan is that I'll be seeing a certain baseball team play this summer in Chicago.
Yeah, when did they? Well, they were there for the 4th of July this past year.
Right after the All-Star break.
July.
That's when the Boston Red Stockings are in town, and that's hopefully when I'll be there.
That's BS. They should be coming here this year. If we went there last year, come on now.
I'm going for my bachelor party. That's what I'm doing.
Which is
prior
fair.
to the wedding in September. So we're trying to get rooftop seats. We're trying to get one of the rooftops there. So I'm
That'd be very cool.
happy that they're going to Chicago. That I wanted to. I was like, damn, like I would want to do that anyways. That'd be awesome if the Sox are in town now with the
And then
even schedule. You know what I mean? Everything fell into place. So that's the plan right now.
very nice. Very nice.
Hell yeah. Fucking
Keep my fingers crossed for you.
That's right. So, all right, is that all we got?
Quick in memoriam, Travis Shaw.
Quick in memoriam for Travis Shaw. Yes. How could I be remiss? Shout out to the mayor. Yep.
Shout out.
He had his fucking moments, man. Yeah, he had a nice little run at it.
He did. He really
Shout
did.
out to him.
Still, the trade for Thornburg still hurts.
Yeah.
You lost him and Dubon. But
yeah, for a guy, did Thornburg even pitch like 50 innings for the team? I don't think he did.
50 innings. I'm gonna say I'm taking that under. 42 and 2/3 innings from the one and only Tyler Thornburg. He was 2-0 with the Sox though.
Undefeated.
Can't take that from him.
All right. Travis Shaw can't say the same. But no, seriously, Travis Shaw, when he was, again, every now and again, you just see like these guys.
Good vibes guy.
Good vibes guys that sort of pop up and end up being, cult heroes for a little bit of a stretch. He feels like a guy who would fit in with like Nesson or something like that.
For sure. Like I tweeted when I don't know, did I tweet this today? I must have. Where it was like his tweet announcing retirement. I quote tweeted it was like, "When's the Nesson tryout?" Because he's a guy like Middlebrooks or Holt, where I feel like just kind of like has the personality for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to the mayor.
On a great career, just shout out to him.
Yeah, be cool if he came on Nesson. God knows they need some new life.
Again, Mike Monaco full time.
He was fun down the stretch in 21 when he came back. I know by like the end of the first series of 2022, we all wanted him dead.
He stunk, but
he was the walk-off grand slam. Like
that I forget. That's right. That he did
just
have
like mid-August, like the COVID Sox were, riding high.
You had to bring in a very special guest star, a cameo appearance.
Give him some juice.
So shout out to Travis Shaw, and shout out to you for listening to this episode of Pod on Lansdowne. We'll be back next week, hopefully with Jake in the fold. Good to have him back. Be a family once again, so I'm not just stuck with this fucking guy Liam for an hour plus talking about naming rights and dinosaurs.
We've really covered a lot of ground.
I think we did all right for not having for not signing Adam Duvall and for signing Jorge Alfaro. I think we did a pretty good job stretching this out to an hour plus.
I mean, Connor Siebold, God bless him, he gave us that 30 minutes of rock talk.
And that's all Connor Siebold has ever given us, and we are going to forever be grateful for that. So
for some filler.
That's right. Enjoy your week, folks. Thanks for listening again. We'll talk to you next week. Go Sox, baby.
Go Sox.